Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Nate the lawyer. Federal court is allowing a student to sue the accuser at Yale University for Metoo claims. It's happening, guys. We're finally able to fight back. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
In a 7-0 decision, justices ruled a former Yale student is not immune from a defamation lawsuit brought against her by a male student she accused of. That male student was exonerated in criminal court, and he is suing his former accuser and Yale University over statements made during the investigation. Some activists are warning the ruling could discourage victims from reporting assaults in the...
Really? This is going to discourage victims from coming forward because he had proof or she didn't have proof and it was false allegations. So he's able to sue her for that. So you think people that are truly being abused, these things happening to, are scared of being sued back if it was truly happening? That doesn't even make sense. It only deters more of the illegitimate accusations to not come forward because this might happen to them. The thought process of this, whoever's fucking talking, is retarded.
The future.
Okay, so just imagine someone accuses you of a horrible crime and you then get arrested and go to court. A jury finds you not guilty in like record time. They look at the evidence and say, it's obvious this person didn't do that. But your job or school says, well, you know what? We don't believe the jury. We think the jury got it wrong. So then they have their own like separate trial.
Wow.
And in that separate trial, they don't let you question them.
So I guess that's what happened again. That's what happened again. They had the Title IX, and then the school said, you know what? I still think he's guilty, and then found him guilty.
Witnesses. Matter of fact, the person who's accusing you, they don't even let you question that person. They just believe the allegations, find you guilty, and either fire you or expel you from the school, no matter what the evidence showed. This is what happened to Saif Khan at Yale University. So first, let's talk about what happened. Saif Khan was a student at Yale University, and he had a sexual encounter with another student. Now, they hooked up after a Halloween party that Saif was throwing at Yale. Now, the woman Khan had just had sex with later reported to authorities that she had been assaulted by Khan. Now, Khan was suspended from...
So it was his party. She came to his party, and then he assaulted her. Okay.
From Yale, and then he was put on trial for assault by the state. Now, this is where you get to play jury. See, here are some of the details that the victim claimed occurred that night and the nights leading up to the event. Now, the story is basically a he said, she said, so the credibility of both parties are going to be critical to your analysis. Now, the only way you can determine who's telling the truth is whose account best aligns with the evidence that's going to be presented. I also want to be clear about how you should evaluate this. The accuser is the one that has to prove the allegations to be true. The person who's being accused doesn't have to prove anything. They don't have to...
See, that's the thing. They don't have to prove anything, right? But no, that's not how the court system works. He actually has to prove his innocence.
Prove they're innocent. So we have to look at the accuser's accusations, the evidence provided, to see if there's proof that Khan actually did these things. So first, let's look at the accuser's claims. Now, the accuser's first claim was that Khan was a serial harasser, and he was harassing her, particularly on Facebook. And as proof...
And yet, he's a serial harasser, and he harasses you on Facebook, but he threw a party, and you ended up showing up at his party that he was hosting at his own pad. Go on.
She was showing messages in which Khan was trying to befriend her or make a friends connection on Facebook. Now, the evidence that you're going to see is not something I just found online. This is actually what was presented at trial against Khan. So first, we looked at the Facebook messages. Facebook messages showed that she and Khan had multiple messages on Facebook, and she also accepted Khan's Facebook request, along with giving Khan her phone number so they can contact each other off platform. So here are the Facebook messages that was presented at the trial. Saif says, "Boo, what's your number?" She replies with her phone number and says, "I'm sad I had to leave. That was an awesome talk." The accuser also stated to the authorities that she wanted nothing to do with Khan. But text messages presented at trial show that she agreed to meet Khan and to go to dinner with Khan and to go to various events around campus with Khan. For example, when Khan invited her to dinner, this is what she said. Saif says, "Meal on Friday." She says, "Sure, I can do lunch on Friday or dinner any other day." "All right, let's do Saturday," replies Khan. "Sounds good. What time?" 5:45. Trumbull. "Works for you?" "Yes." Perfect. Court documents also reveal that she texted him again.
That's pretty clear cut right there.
To accept his offer of tickets to a sold-out Halloween concert by the Yale Symphony Orchestra. She asked, "Can I buy the ticket, please?" He says, "It's free for you." She says, "Really? Thank you, sir." He says, "Of course. I owe you." She responds. He says, "Oh yeah." Now remember, all this is important because we're trying to understand their relationship. Because the victim here had claimed that she was in fear and she was being stalked by Khan.
Right.
But the court documents, as you see, showed that a lot of the time she was the one who not only initiated conversations via text and other means, but she continued communications with Khan throughout this time period. Like you just saw, asking if she could buy tickets from him, going out to dinner with them. Here, the evidence didn't really align with what the accuser was saying about their relationship. Now, one thing I want to mention about this story is how the media is actually not covering it, or I'd say the liberal side of the media. Check this out. On Ground News, it's able to show you how this story in particular is being covered by both the liberal media and the conservative media. And as you can see, the liberal media is essentially ignoring this story.
Ooh.
Now,
Shout outs to Nate for putting this out. See, when it makes women look bad, guess who doesn't want to cover it? The left.
this case can fundamentally change how sexual assaults are handled on college campuses, but yet no one on the liberal media side has even mentioned it. Now, this is why I use Ground News, and I have a great deal for you. Subscribe through my link and get 40% off unlimited access. This is a holiday special, so it will not be around for long. Video. Now, next, the accuser also claimed that the night after the concert that Khan forced himself into her dorm room. But at the time of the alleged forced entry, the ID card records showed that Khan entered his dorm room shortly after the accuser entered hers. Now, that made the...
How does that work out? Damn, these key cards are very accurate in timing when kids are in and out, aren't they?
The forcible entry into her room a little bit problematic. And the reason why is that Khan couldn't be in two places at the same time. At the time she was saying that he was forcibly entering her dorm room, he was also using his key card to enter his dorm room. Now, after the incident occurred, the accuser says that she was trying to avoid Khan at all costs. But text messages after the encounter shows casual communications with Khan, including text messages the morning after the incident. Here it is. Saif texts her, "Morning." She responds, "LOL." He then sends an emoji. She writes, "Go to sleep. This will stay between us." That goes for you too. Okay, great.
Yep. Sounds like she did something with him, kissed him or something, and regretted it, and now she doesn't want that reputation on her or something, so she's gonna have to push back and destroy a man for it.
"Let me know when you wake up and we'll have a meal," Khan replies. Yeah, we'll do." She then replies, "Hey, are you 100% sure you use protection, or should I take measures?" Khan then replied that he did use protection. Then later on that day, she writes this: "You're a piece of shit, Saif. I hope you know that." He writes back about 2 hours later, "I apologize for making you feel that way. Is there anything I can do?" Now, this transitions us to the main issue of the case. The accuser says that she had a high level of intoxication and could not consent to sex. Now, witness testimony about the accuser's level of intoxication were contradictory at best. For instance, one witness who testified at trial claimed that her intoxication was at a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how drunk she was, while another witness said that her intoxication was at a 10. Now, the victim in this case had claimed to be extremely drunk, to the point where it was even hard for her to walk to get around anywhere. But the video evidence of campus security shows her walking around with Khan. So I'm going to play that video and let you judge for yourself whether she looks intoxicated or not.
All right, let's take a look at this. Put on our thinking caps and goggles on. She looks like she's walking pretty normal. He's not really supporting her or anything. Yeah, it looks pretty normal. Doesn't seem to be really stumbling or anything. Oh, maybe right there? Maybe a slight stumble there? That's hard to tell with this, like, crappy freaking video. Overall, looks okay. Wasn't, like, belligerent drunk or anything. It looks like she's holding his hand. Yeah.
Now, you've just seen that video, but what you have to determine is if that video that you just saw is that portrays a person who is so intoxicated that they can't give consent to have sexual contact.
That's called bullshit. She was holding on his hand and like this the whole time as they were walking together. I highly doubt that she couldn't consent.
Is that what you see in that video?
No.
What would you expect to see if you were looking at a video of a woman who was too inebriated?
Something
to
like
consent
that,
to
yeah.
sexual activity? So now, the final claim from the accuser was that she had not been sexually active with anyone else in the past 6 months, except for Khan. But the DNA swabs that were revealed at trial showed the presence of another man's DNA within the accuser. Now, this contradicted her claims that she had not been sexually active for the past 6 months. Matter of fact, it contradicted the claim that she had not been sexually active for the past 2 weeks. So now the jury had a package. They had the digital evidence, the text messages, the ID swipes, the DNA swabs, the witness testimony. Whether all that evidence supported her accounts of what happened that night. Now, after evaluating all the evidence for about 3 hours, the jury came back and acquitted Khan of all charges. They said that he was not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But Yale University didn't like that outcome.
Of course
they decided
they
to
didn't.
have their own trial. But this trial would be a little different. Number one, that evidence that was presented at the other trial, we're kind of gonna, ignore a lot of that.
Wow. These fucking liberal colleges are just gonna ignore all this evidence now just to make it so he can lose. This is so fucking bullshit, guys. This is why men are dropping out of colleges left and right. This is why college is not made for men. It is tailored to women in almost every way, shape, and form.
Also, we're not going to allow Khan to question the witnesses or even question the accuser. Matter of fact, he can't even be there in the room when the accuser does come and testify.
Wow.
Just so you understand, they didn't even let Khan's attorneys question the accuser during this, I'm calling it a sham trial. So,
Yeah.
to no one's surprise, Yale found Khan guilty of the assault and kicked him out, even though their trial was inherently unfair. So
Correct.
Khan sued the school because this trial was so unfair. And the Connecticut Supreme Court ruled that this trial was so unfair, it boggled the mind. Here is what they said.
Saif Khan was a senior at Yale in 2015 when he was accused of assaulting a fellow student on Halloween night. The woman claimed that Khan raped her after she admittedly had too much to drink. Khan denied the accusations, was arrested, and faced a criminal trial. It took a jury 3 hours, just 3 hours, to acquit him on all charges. The story, of course, didn't end there. There was a hearing on Yale's.
This is exactly what happened again in the story we saw earlier today. He got found not guilty by Title IX, which I'm assuming is the cops. And the university still did their own investigation and found him guilty. Exactly like they did again. It's a pattern, boys. It's a pattern.
Campus in which Khan and his lawyer were unable to cross-examine his accuser. They were not even allowed to be in the same room when she testified. Yale suspended Khan and eventually expelled him. But now the Connecticut Supreme Court has found that Yale's kangaroo court was so unfair, they issued a ruling in Khan's favor, in the accused favor. They wrote that Khan's lawyer's inability to cross-examine the accused reduced them, and we're quoting now, to the role of a potted plant. saying fundamental fairness requires meaningful cross-examination in proceedings like the one at issue. They found Khan could actually sue his accuser for defamation, something he is doing now.
So yes, you heard that right. See,
Damn right.
Generally, Khan wouldn't have been able to sue the school or his accuser because they would be protected under law. See, the law only protects Yale and the accuser if they conform with the fundamental principles of due process, like being able to confront your accuser and just overall having a fair process. But since Yale was so in the tank to just get Khan and they didn't have a fair hearing, this allowed Khan to now sue both Yale and the accuser for defamation.
Oh, I'm loving this, guys. Loving it.
Because she
Shout
made
outs to
defamatory
Khan.
statements in that hearing. Now, a federal appeals court has just ruled that Khan's lawsuit can move forward, and he's adding the accuser to his $100 million lawsuit against Yale.
Fuck yeah.
It says here in the Sun. Now, the ruling has shocked the college world because, understand, schools are afraid. Because
Hell
they've
yeah,
been
you
doing
better
this for
be.
years. And Khan is now the test case to see if false allegations can lead to defamation suits, holding both the institution accountable and the accusers accountable for those defamatory claims. Now, both Yale and Khan are in talks to get through discovery, and we'll see what happens. But Yale is going to trial in this case, and so is Khan's accuser. So, if Khan wins, how much do you think he should win? What about his accuser?
Give him the $100 goddamn million. Give it to him. I know Yale fucking has it. That's what you get, you fucking shitty colleges that want to accuse men and destroy men's lives for the betterment of women. Fuck you guys and your shitty fucking ways. You guys need to fucking do better. I hope this fucking goes to major courts and destroys the shit out of you fucking colleges.
Accuser. Do you think she should have to pay Khan some money? Do you believe that her statements were defamatory?
Hell
and what do
yeah,
you think
they
about this
were.
whole process? Because Yale has a lot riding on this. Do you think they'll settle? I think if I'm Yale's attorneys, I think we've taken this as far as we want to go, and we may want to cut Khan a check. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this story because, you know, we did a lot of digging for this story. And it's just fascinating to see how in the tank Yale was for this accuser, even with all this evidence.
Woo! Man. That was some good chow. Shout outs to Nate, the lawyer. Wonderful work. I am so happy about this story. I haven't seen a story that made me so happy in a while. This is awesome. Shout outs to Khan for fighting for the good fight. And yeah, push him to the brink of fucking destruction. Fuck these colleges. Fuck these liberal colleges that really want to destroy men in every way, shape, and form. Please like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.